Oops. My interesting.
What happened?
My camera went out.
Oh,
Hello, everybody.
hello, everybody. It's Friday.
Yeah, it is. And okay. There we go. My bad. All right. How are you doing this afternoon, evening?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a good week. Yeah, it's been a good week. And so the main thing I've been thinking about is vacation.
Sounds good. Where we're going.
I don't know. That's what I've never been to Hawaii and I've never been to Europe, which I don't think I'm going to spend the money to go to Europe right now. But uh,
Hawaii
yeah,
ain't cheap
yeah. I
neither.
mean, my second home is Jamaica, so
I know. I was gonna say, did you forward your mail over there to Jamaica?
yeah. I think I've been over there 7 times now. So
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Did you get that all in 1 year last year?
I went twice. I've gone. I mean, a couple of times I've gone twice in a year. Yeah. So I went with my sister. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was December 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, December 2020. Came back January 21, and then I went again in July
Mm-hmm.
of 2021.
Okay.
So
So during
now
COVID.
it's time. I'm overdue because it's been over a year since
Okay.
I've been
So,
since I,
so
well,
when
no, not over a year, but almost a year since I've been on vacation. Yeah. So
is it because of COVID? Is that what kind of made you chill?
no, I just had other stuff going on, moving to Houston and the move, and closing on a house and all that, just took some time. And then, of course, once you get in the house, trying to get the house situated and it's been a lot. So now I finally feel settled where I can actually think about going somewhere. So
Mm-hmm. I got you,
mhm.
man. Oh man. The week has been challenging. My family and I are recovering from COVID. Um,
Mhm.
we're gonna test everybody tomorrow to make sure we're all negative.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Okay.
I still have the cough. My wife has. You still hear the phlegm in her chest, and I heard that the COVID cough takes a while to get out the
Go
system.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well,
I'm
I'm glad you're better and everybody recovered.
yes. Thank you, everyone, for
Mhm.
your prayers. I appreciate it because it was needed. It was
Mhm.
needed, and I still, like a knucklehead, was still there trying to do my regular, even with me about 50%, there. But
Mhm.
I was there for definitely for your show, and then we had the that town meeting podcast as well, or event. So I was there for that as well, and all of my co-hosts and people were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, for
uh,
real.
I just got a motor that just doesn't know when to quit sometimes, and I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
Yeah, because you got to shut it off.
That is still a work in progress. Let's
Uh-huh.
just say I desire success so badly that I'm willing to hurt myself. Apparently, so I'm gonna work on that because something I had learned is that mental health challenges run in my family. Um, because my aunt who passed away dealt with schizophrenia. My
Mhm.
cousin just told me we have another family member that has bipolar disorder, and he just passed away from drowning during an episode. And this was
Mm.
recent. This was real recent. So when I told him the situation I had going on with family, um, Carla always says it's that Capricorn foolery. Yes, ma'am. I'm working on it. Good evening, Miss Carla. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Mr. Aaron. Thank you very much. Um, if I may, I want to tell you what happened not even 24 hours last night.
Okay, go ahead.
My mom has bipolar disorder, and it's been literally 25 to 30 years since the last time she's had an episode. And for it to happen now late in her life is frustrating to not just me, but the whole family. And
Mm-hmm.
About 10:15 last night, I got a call from a number I didn't know. And God is my witness. I'm normally not one to answer a number I don't know, but I answered
Right.
it. And it was a police officer. He said that I'm not exactly sure of the whole detail because everything was hitting me so quickly. But in short, we pulled over. We see that she's checking the list in regards to what's needed for someone who's in their mental capacity. But the officer could tell something was up, that something was not right with her, and he didn't feel comfortable detaining her because he had no right. There was not enough to detain her.
Right.
And he didn't feel comfortable with her driving. So he said, can you come get her? And I'm like, I can't. Everyone in this house is locked down, regarding COVID. So we want to make sure we're good before we, start going out. So he said, could you get your mom an Uber? No problem. I can do that. So I set it up while the officer was still waiting on the other phone and called her an Uber. She got into the Uber. I thought everything was legit. As far as good, that should be home. Thank you, Miss Carla, for the prayers. 10 minutes down the street, I see on the Uber that the ride stopped. And I was able to contact the Uber by basically, there's a function where if you left something or whatever, you can call them. So I had to pay an extra $11 for that call just to ask what happened. And basically, she got belligerent with him. And he said, I had the same issue that happened last week. I, called the cops on her. But in actuality, he kicked her out, but called the cops. And between that situation to how she got to the racetrack, I'm not clear. But either which way, she got to the racetrack gas station. Another officer called me and said, she's here. She needs to get home. So I said, officer, let her know I'll gladly pay for her Uber to get her home. But please tell her she has to stay in the car and get home so that, we can't keep doing this all night. So she did say she'll go home. She'll take Uber. She'll go home.
Well,
But
where was she? I'm sorry. I just have a question. Like, where was she coming from?
She drove 45 minutes away from home. Again, under her influence. I don't know where she was going or what she was doing. That's another thing.
Okay.
Mom is real private, so there's a lot of things I don't know what she was doing. But all I know is she was in Kissimmee, which is about 40 minutes from where she lives. And they left the car at a bank so that it would be safe, and it's in front of a bank, and told me, you can come pick it up or get someone to pick it up afterwards. But we're not letting her drive in it. So that's what the Uber was to get her home the first time. So the second time, she just said, I'll gladly do Uber, but don't let me go in the car with the same guy that she had the disagreement with. That makes sense. So fortunately, she got a female driver, and the police officer told her what's up, gave a card, and said, "This is my number, and on the back is her son. When you drop her off, give him a call, please, just so he knows that his mom is home safe." So let's just say that was the longest 30 minutes on that doggone app to make sure she got home.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the time she got home was like 12:15 at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Miss Carla said she was manic. My kid is bipolar. And when they get that way, Lord, I understand, Miss Carla.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Miss Lena.
Hello. Yes.
Thank you, AP. So, so now today, right before we started this podcast, she calls me and said, "Hey, when are you coming to dinner?" Huh? She said, "We sent you an email to come to dinner tonight." And I hear another man's voice, and it's not her ex who she lives with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what is
Like
going
what?
on? So,
Did she tell you where she was?
no. And did I ask? No. I'm
Oh,
just I am in such a situation right now that I care for her well-being, but that's adding gasoline to the fires I'm already trying to put out.
right.
Meaning I'm taking care of my spouse who's disabled and had COVID, and that was like my top per se.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeanette's
One,
getting. Go
so
ahead.
one question:
Yes,
is she
ma'am.
taking medication? Is she on any medication?
I'm gonna be throwing my hands up to you all day because I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Showing the episode she's going through was saying that she didn't take it, and I know that's not necessarily true when it comes to bipolar disease. Not disease. What's the word? The other
Bipolar disorder. Yeah.
disorder. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, uh, and she hasn't been sleeping either. So, not
She's
sleeping.
definitely, like Miss Carla says, she's definitely in a manic. She's in a
Yeah.
manic state.
And she said that you need your peace. Yes, ma'am. I do. And I don't fault my mom because she's not there. Now, I will say this. She was definitely a lot calmer in the conversation today. She actually didn't talk and run on sentences. She literally paused. So it shows that some of her faculties are coming back, but she said that we have to talk as a family. So I'm not opposed to that, but I'm just trying to not be blindsided, especially when I bring my whole family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you another scenario.
So have
Uh,
you been blindsided before? And
yes.
oh, okay. Okay.
The blind side before was before I was married and had kids. Hold up. Did I have joy then? It may not have been as long as I thought it was because I think my kids were in the single digits. No, I can't remember. They weren't with me. That I do know.
Yeah.
And basically, my legal father, Mr. Saha, came into town because Justin was missing from school over a week. In her state of mind, she drove 2 hours away from Orlando up the East Coast to St. Augustine. I had to ask the cops to detain her so that she can get the help, through Baker Act, so she can get the medical help she needs. So when I got there to see her, my legal father or adopted father, Mr. Saha, was there. He was in between us talking to her. And my son, my brother, Justin, who is like 13, 15 then, said, "Hey, mom wants to talk to you." So as soon as I came around the corner, she literally lunged at me, but because my dad was there, he stopped her, and she threw all kind of obscenities. And to this day, I really don't know why she was that degree of hot towards me. Still don't know.
Did you ever ask her about it at a later time, or did she remember it?
We did, but she didn't know. You know, there's a lot. She said there's a lot of things I didn't know. The images just come at me so fast, I just can't really pinpoint or remember anything specific. And it was that was a tough time. So that was the blind side.
Okay.
So I'm hearing her talk. She sounds tired. Like, you can hear someone and hear they sound tired. She sounded tired. And that's why I'm like, what are you doing? Who are you with? Why aren't you home? You know? So she just has a no quit like yours truly. So I get it. I know where I get the no quit from. But, so my question to you, Therapist Tori, I have two prominent women in my life that are ill. And biblically, I am supposed to cleave until my wife become one flesh, and a man shall leave his mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not digesting that completely because I love them both. But I can't handle them both at the same time. And I honestly feel she's penalizing me for not giving her that attention that she wants.
Like who? Who's penalizing you?
My mom.
Oh, okay.
And I know she's feeling kind of isolated or alone, even though she's not alone. So, what do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I mean, I know that it's very, very difficult in our society to have support for friends and family members that have mental health issues. You know, and I know a lot of times people that have mental health issues do not like to stay on medication, or they find other ways to medicate themselves through, you know, illegal drugs. But no, I mean, I'm glad you're recognizing, you know, that you can't deal with that by yourself, you know, and that you need support. You know, I guess I can't say for sure what you should do, but maybe the ex that she lives with, maybe work in conjunction with him to maybe ask her some questions about, you know, medication. Are you willing to take medication? Are you willing to see a psychiatrist or counselor on a regular basis? Because, you know, what's recommended a lot of the time is to have medication and regular therapy consistently, you know. So it doesn't have to be necessarily every week, but, you know, maybe at least once a month, you know, she has somebody to check in with and, you know, to talk to, and also to have some accountability. Because, you know, I think a lot of times people may share more with a therapist than they will, you know, a friend or family member about what they're going through. So, and even for you, I mean, it might be a good idea for you to have somebody, you know, to talk to about, you know, the things that because that's pretty heavy, you know, having a spouse dealing with severe health issues, and your mom dealing, you know, I mean, So situations like that kind of makes it feel like the walls are coming in on me, because you're trying to, answer the call for everybody, and it's not realistic.
And the harder part is when I do for myself, especially with my spouse. Like I sometimes just go away, and sometimes I go to St. Pete for the weekend and hang out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
She has a problem with that, and it's like she's got separation anxiety, and it's like I just need to hit my refresh button, then I'll come back refreshed, and I'm ready to get back into that helping mode,
Right.
And she also has memory issues, so that makes it even harder, because it's like you're repeating yourself, and even in the repeat, it still doesn't retain. So I need to find a way of something to help her remember. Miss Carla says therapy changed my life, and it took me having a Black woman therapist to get where I am today. Respect.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think the biggest issue for you is having that support. I would even say, maybe even group, now with COVID, I'm not sure what's available, especially in your area, because, I'm in Texas and you're in Florida. But maybe that's something that you could look into, maybe participating in some group therapy and having some support with people who are experiencing and going through some of the same things that you're going through, because, sometimes that makes us, or allows us to feel like, I'm not in this by myself,
I hear you.
The hard part with your mom, and of course I've worked with bipolar clients. The hardest part is that it's like when they can work really hard to get into a good space and, have consistent work, and, and they're, able to establish a balance. But it's like, as soon as that happens, they might do something that interrupts the balance, like stop taking their medication. I have a client right now who's kind of in a state of mania because stop taking the medication, and it's like that kind of threw everything else off balance. So sometimes like they get into this space and they're like, oh, I'm good, and I no longer, I'm at a, I'm in a space where I don't need that anymore. So, which isn't true. It's like, no, you still do need that,
I'm sure I think I have a feeling that happened. Lena says a lot of men, particularly Black men, because of the myth of Black machismo and, quote, the culture, have difficulty being vulnerable. That says a lot about your character. Thank you. I know when I'm in a situation that is bigger than me. And I can honestly tell you, the people of Blast, or that we call Blast Nation, have been very supportive. And I'm surrounded by wonderful people, and I'm thankful for that. But none of them are with me when these situations,
right,
when the fire is burning, it's them.
Like, yeah, you're not getting that phone call at 12 o'clock from a police officer. Your mama's on the side of the road. Yeah.
But that's the humorous part about, because I can laugh about it now, because that past showing up was not funny yesterday. My Lord. It's frustrating, but I'm glad she's safe. And even I've gotten to the point that I've kind of packed my emotions in the closet somewhere, because I got tired of using them, especially with her, Jeanette. I
Mhm.
was there for her when she would wake up at 3 a.m. having seizures. That is never fun. Every horror movie that you used to watch came into place right there, seeing her all
Mhm.
convulsed like that. I was there for her with brain surgery. She was still alive and had the halo.
Mhm.
Craziness.
Yeah.
But I was there.
Mhm.
This is where I just literally feel like I'm a lurch sometimes. I have no emotions. And
Mhm.
I'm not the same person I used to be. And a lot of these things made those changes, And I don't know.
Well, I mean, I feel you. I can hear in your voice that it's changed you, you
Yeah.
know.
I care, but this may not show I care.
No, I mean, the fact that you're talking about it says that you care. I mean, I've thank you, Lena. I've seen a lot of situations where spouses don't stay. When
Right.
their spouse is going through severe health issues like that, like
Hmm.
some people don't have the stomach for it. And some people might judge the situation and say, well, oh my God, that you must suck as a person to walk out. But and it's like, yeah, but you don't know what it takes to
Hmm.
stay. you know I mean, it's a whole nother ball game when I mean, this ain't your basic like falling in love and euphoria and you know it's not that. It's something on a whole nother level, to stay in a relationship that with someone that is debilitated. Like, I mean, and let me just keep it all the way 100 with you. I don't know that I could do it.
Yeah. A lot of people say
Mm,
that, and I'm not going to sit here and say I don't love her because that would be a straight up lie. I do, but it
right,
ain't the kind of love like romance novel and all that type of love.
right,
It's a love,
right,
it's a love of wanting that person to get through this in one piece, to
right.
not feel the burn of the disability that they're going through. Because one
Mm-hmm,
of the things that attracted to me about her, she was outgoing. The girl got a master's degree from Seton Hall. She's got a bachelor's from Rutgers University.
mm-hmm,
It was about doing things. That's what I'm
mm-hmm.
about, doing things.
Right,
Four
right.
years into marriage, then the health issues started happening. 4 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
And I know you might feel not necessarily by her, but by the situation, feel duped. It's like, that's not, this ain't really what I signed up for.
right.
So,
And she said she gave me the opportunity to exit stage left. No,
mhm,
she may have said it in her head, but it ain't come out her lips. And even if it did, because she did when the kids was young, as far as that option, I
mhm,
wasn't scared by that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared by that. There's a lot of things I've done with her that I've never done with any other female, as far as some of the things I had to do to help her.
yeah,
And you know, I would be lying to you if I would say
mhm,
I'm happy where I'm at. I would be lying to you if I said I'm attracted to her. I'd be lying to you.
mhm,
But I'm not lying to the fact that I don't want to see her hurt. I don't want to see her in a situation of being alone. But I know you can't have it both ways, meaning emotionally, I checked out. And that's what I've been saying before.
mhm,
Emotionally, my head is somewhere else. Blast has helped me a lot because of it's an escape. having all these different podcasts, it's an escape. Helping you is helping me escape. So by me being transparent, I don't have a problem with that. So many people are afraid to be transparent now because everything gets twisted and you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I really hope that this conversation gets to help someone, that it's okay to be honest. I mean, here I am.
It is okay to be honest, and it is okay to be genuine, to be authentic, and you know.
Thank you, AP. Lena's my own cheerleader. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate you being an example of that. Now, I will say,
please,
it is extremely, extremely important that you have a space in your life where you can be free, okay, and enjoy yourself. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. This is not, you know, I don't want you to treat your life like it's a prison sentence, because nobody's going to get any joy or peace out of that. So
let's talk about that other side, the flip side.
Okay.
I know I look like I'm the good guy, so I'm willing to change some hearts and minds.
I already know you ain't good, so no. I experienced it firsthand, but we ain't gonna get into that. Go ahead.
Hey. You're gonna let that candle burn for a long time.
Of course, I'm gonna beat that. I'm gonna beat that mule.
Inside joke for only those that know.
They were like, "What? What are they talking about?"
You know, hush up, AP. Anyway, the truth of the matter is I had told her probably about 4 or 5 years ago that I was done. The reason of why those words came out of my mouth is that I was trying to find my identity in this relationship. I didn't feel loved. I didn't get thank yous for the sacrifices that I made. I just felt I was a servant. And on top of that, I was being treated that way from her and her folks.
Mm-hmm.
Key example. I used to work for Lockheed Martin. 10-hour days would actually be 12-hour days because it was 45 minutes to get there and 45 minutes back. Give or take here and there in traffic. I get home late. Her folks are already here. She already told me, hey, the parents brought food, so you don't have to worry about cooking because I also am the chef. That's another story.
Yeah.
I get home. Her folks straight up told me she hasn't eaten yet. I thought it was because she was waiting on me. They basically said, you know how she likes her food. What? So you mean she waited an extra 2 or 3 hours because I know how to serve her food? This is their freaking child.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn. Did I get married into this right here?
Yeah.
So, So that one really threw me for a loop. And I was like, there was just a lot of things that I told her that, you know, I started demanding it. Thank yous, please, you know, these type of things. Oh, but I was never raised like that because, you know, their folks never raised her like that. In short, I don't give a damn. This is the rules in this household. You've been with me going on just about as long as I've known you. So I don't care. If you want me to help you, I expect you to start respecting me. And I never got it. I just never got it. And she tried to blame it on upbringing. So I said, you know what? You find another nigga that will treat you the way you want to be, Miss Princess. I'm done. And that was pretty much where I've been ever since. Now, COVID didn't help as far as me trying to move on, and leaving Lockheed didn't help.
Right. Yeah.
So financially, I'm stuck here, but I'm not complaining. We got a beautiful house together that we were able to get built in 2013. I was willingly gonna leave the house to her and the kids because shoot, trying to live anywhere else, we're paying less than $650 a month. No taxes on the property because she's fully disabled. Why would you want to move anywhere else? She talk about she'll sell it because of the memories we have in here. I said, you would be a fool to sell this house. There's no other place you'll be able to live.
Yeah.
For affordable price. Anyway, how about this? How about this thing?
Go ahead.
I was going to go ahead and play the Blast Artist of the Week.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we'll have a good little break. And everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. Let me move my browser over because I'm turning my head. There we go. We'll be right back. We have the Blast Artist of the Week, which is Chiclana, and this is Lactura. And we'll be right back.
Mi locura, no le creo que a mí me lo jura. No le voy a dejar caerle esta altura. Mami, como roca, tu estatura. Tú entiendes mi locura, no le creo que a mí me lo jura. No le voy a dejar caerle esta altura. Mami, como roca, tu estatura. Somos locos los dos, chingamos como pros. Mientras nuestros labios comparten microbios. Eres mía, obvio, tu alma gemela soy yo. Vivo en una nota con un chin de tu boca. Se siente más caliente cuando tiene menos ropa. Se nota en sus ojos como conmigo flota. Tanto dio la gota en la copa hasta que la dejó rota. El que se aferra pierde, aceptemos la derrota. El amor es de esas cosas que cuando toca, toca. Cupido mueve foca, la dejaste loca. Porque mi flecha la flechó, en su pecho se le echó. La indirecta la cachó, en mi cama ella cayó. Ella dándome las gracias y yo se las doy a Dios. Su corazón estaba roto y con tu y eso me lo dio. Desde que le empecé a darle ese booty más le creció. La única que desde cero conmigo se la bebió. Me vio en mi peor momento y se quedó. Mi problema interno con un beso lo arregló. Sabe parar el tiempo y ese tiempo en mi mente se grabó. Cuando quiera la tiento y si la tiento confía que peco. Sabe parar el tiempo y ese tiempo en mi mente se grabó. Cuando quiera la tiento y si la tiento confía que peco. Tú entiendes mi locura, no le creo que a mí me lo jura. No le voy a dejar caerle esta altura, mami como roca, tu estatura. Tú entiendes mi locura, no le creo que a mí me lo jura. No le voy a dejar caerle esta altura, mami como roca, tu estatura. Versículos bíblicos dicen que comernos antes de casarnos es pecado. Yo me acuerdo me tenías pálido. A mí siempre me tienta lo inválido. De que lo tratamos pero no duró. Pidiéndome el trato después de que el blon evaporó. Ella es de las que grajé en los semáforos. Cuando llegó a mi vida la ansiedad me la calmó. Ey, corazón de mármol, todo mi sistema gira en torno a ti porque tú brillas como el sol. Qué rico es tener sexo contigo bajo efectos del alcohol. A veces quiere que te chinga, a veces que te dé el amor. Tengo fe que como usted envejeceré de social nunca pararé. Porque todos tus sueños te los cumpliré. Cuando pegue y me haga yo cuanto quieras te daré. Mientras ellos multiplican mami yo triplicaré. De ti yo me enamoré, por eso a todas las ignoro. Tú me haces brillar como los diamantes la hacen al oro. Que me tire la que quiera acá ninguna la ocoro. En mi peor momento me dejaron solo, pero tú nunca te fuiste y esa mierda la valoro. Si muero y reencarno de ti vuelvo y me enamoro más. Ella es una estrella y en el récord de mi corazón yo la tengo firmada. La compatibilidad la tenemos elevada. Empezó en curiosidad pero terminó moja. El blombo por la mitad pero prendí otro más. Baby si tú me comparas resalto entre los demás. Lo que va a pasar, pasará.
Alrighty, and that was Chiclana, and that song was called Lactura. And if you are an independent artist and you would like to also be a part of the Blast community, go to blastmusic247.com, register as an agent, as an artist, not an agent. And it is free. That's right, it is free. So again, blastmusic247.com. Go ahead and register, and we're changing the industry one artist at a time. All righty, dighty.
Awesome. Right. I like that one too.
Yeah, he's only 22 from Puerto Rico, and
Really?
I spoke with him recently to try to get some new music from him. And real cool kid. So I tell you, I love what I do, Vic. Excuse me, Tori. I love what I do. Dropping gubs up in this mug. Anyway.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna have a meeting after this meeting.
Oh boy.
I'm
So
just kidding.
I got you. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Oh, me gusta la música. No doubt. Love it as well.
Mhm.
So, the older I've gotten, the more I've learned to be comfortable with confrontation.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say you have to be comfortable with it is because crap won't get done if you don't learn to confront. Now, I'm not saying act a fool, because that don't ever get anything done.
Right.
Confront is more or less, there's a problem. Let's talk about it. Let's work it out together. Confrontation does not have to be with your fist balled up. Although that's some language some people speak, but I don't speak that. I
Right.
speak, what can we do to work this out? Now, in the situation with my mom, she's right now in that denial phase before the treatment, which happens, where they think everything's fine, I feel great, and they're running 900 miles an hour. And I really want her to get the help, but she has to want it first. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you had mentioned that your mom said to you that, she wanted to have a family meeting or whatever. I would take her up on that, But I mean, and I'm not saying necessarily, bring this up in front of everybody, but, I am suggesting that, when she kind of comes back to her normal space, mentally and emotionally, like have, maybe broach that conversation with her, and let her know, hey, I'm kind of concerned about some things, and, what can we work on together to deal with this? Because, the situation's kind of becoming pretty scary for me, especially when I get phone calls in the middle of the night and, you're not at home and you're not safe, so I really want us to, come up with a plan together to address what's happening. And just, and just see where she's at with it. Because, the most important thing about communication is empathy. And I think that she, on some level, may need to understand what's happening for you emotionally.
Do me a big favor, because someone told me about having empathy, or I need to have empathy. Could you give me a definition of empathy?
Well, empathy when it comes to communication is, I mean, just like what we learned in school, having the ability to put yourself in the other person's shoes, to understand, experientially where they are coming from, or, I need to understand what your experience is so I can, feel what your experience is, So, I mean, whenever we talk about imago therapy or the imago dialogue, and, you can look this information up on YouTube as well, but I think it's John Gottman. I might be saying that wrong. I have to research that part, but, it's so in communication, we talk about mirroring, validation, empathy. So mirroring, I'm just, repeating back to you what I heard you say, like, you know, well, I don't need to come up with an example for that, but, and then validation is just understanding, like Stephen Covey. If you want understanding, you have to give understanding. You know, understanding doesn't necessarily mean that we agree, but do I understand your thought process? Do I know how you arrived at your conclusion? That's validation. And then empathy is, you know, now that I know what your perspective is, can I put myself in your shoes? Can I look at the situation from where you are coming from? You know, so.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Tough love.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to someone with bipolar disorder, does tough love work?
Yeah, I think it can sometimes. But, you know, when somebody's in a manic state, they're not going to, I mean, you know, I think 9 times out of 10, they're not going to hear it or they're not going to receive it.
More as a threat.
So it can be, you know, it can be tricky. You know, talking to somebody who's in a state of mania, because, you know, tomorrow they may or may not remember that they even had that conversation with you.
Right.
You know, so like with, you know, a client of mine who's kind of dealing with that right now, I mean, our conversations sound like business meetings, you know.
Right.
And I, you know, to some degree try to go with it because I'm trying to understand where they're at.
Right.
But I have to wait until that client is in a much more lucid state in order to have, you know, a deeper conversation.
I got you.
Yeah.
Because my little brother is all the way in, like, he does fiber optic installation, and right now they have him in the island of Hawaii, which is a hot 6 hours difference. So he can't focus on work because of, you know, concern about her and so on. And I'm wondering if we have to be a little more challenging to challenge her to, you know, listen, take your meds, you know, be safe about where you're roaming to. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what to do because there's so many answers, or there's so many questions and very few answers. So I'm just kind of stuck.
Well, Troy, I don't profess to have the answers, but my only advice to you is to start with you. You know, you can't effectively support your mom if you don't have support. You know, so I think that that might be a place to start is, you know, kind of figuring out where you can get some additional support or resources. And then, you know, we have a little bit more to work with in terms of addressing some things with your mom, because if you just kind of stay in this fix it mode, you're going to stay in a mode where you don't feel anything, you know, and that's not healthy.
How true that is. I had or have done group support with Jeanette's MS group. There was an MS group we used to go to.
Oh, okay.
The only problem I had with that is at that time, all the MS patients were about 20, 30 years older than her. We were the only interracial couple as well. And it was okay, but it got real old real fast for me. At the same token, then Jeanette was off a lot better than a lot of the people who, had MS there. And MS works differently for every individual. At that time, it wasn't as bad as it is now for her because it just progressed worse. But, whoo,
Yeah,
tough stuff.
it is. It is.
So I appreciate you guys giving love. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate your compliment. Support needs support. Yes, ma'am. Miss Carla, I hear you loud and clear. The caretaker needs care.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need a vacation, damn it.
Yeah, well, you just loop right back around to what we said when we started. Vacation.
I'm with that 2 vacations a year. I'm with that. Damn it, I may say 3.
As many as you can get.
No doubt. And it's funny, I'm not a drinker. I'm like a social drinker, a socialite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful that I'm not, because that could have been a habit. Because I have family that had alcoholism too, so it's like, Oh, we have a question here. So, the artist known as Lena J. What are some tips for how we can provide support for caretakers? Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I might have to research that a little bit, but that one of the things that I suggested was maybe participating in a group, because like group therapy, you have an opportunity to not only share your own story, but hear the stories of other people who are experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing. So, yeah. So group therapy, and I don't know, I don't know what the resources are in the area where you are. Are you still in Orlando?
I'm outside of Orlando. I'm not far from it. About 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, but that would probably be the first thing to check into to see if there's a group, either via Zoom or, I don't know if you'd want to do something in person, but, group therapy is good for support.
Okay. I never found one for the caregivers, and that's what's funny to me. Caregivers really get the short end of the stick, and there needs to be more of it. I ain't trying to pick up that mantle to make one for it, but I'm just saying, as a caregiver, I was looking and I couldn't find anything like a caregiver support group.
Well, and if you can't find a group, I would, try to do some individual therapy. I mean, if you can't find a group, because you need a place to go and dump or vent or whatever, you need a place to do that. And that's non-judgmental. So,
right. I will give one suggestion that my cousin offered. He had told me, he said, bro, your escape, since you don't go anywhere, he said, you need to get you an Xbox or a PlayStation or whatever and have your time to do that. And I took that advice and it actually helped me out quite a lot. I was able just to mentally escape for a moment. And it was good stuff. Let's see here. Miss Carla said, when we were taking care of Big Ma, and when I was taking care of my dad, believe it or not, hospice. I'm sure she meant it the same way, but she was, I guess she was taking care of him, or not hospice. I understand. They have the best network support ever. They are just for death situations. Gotcha.
They are just for, yeah.
Question number 2. Your thoughts on African American communities choosing prayer over therapy rather than employing both? Deep.
Yeah, we might need more than 5 minutes to address that one.
Well, we can save
Yeah,
that. Definitely.
yeah. What'd you say?
I was saying we can definitely save that for next week if you like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen situations where people don't quote unquote believe in therapy, which is, in my opinion, contrary to the word, because even in the word it says, in the multitude of counselors there is safety.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
so I think counseling is biblical.
It is. She was saying,
she said, Carla
not
was
just
saying,
that situation. Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, let me repeat. She was saying that hospice is good for what is the keyword?
Other support, not just for death. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, we got you. Not just death situations. I'll look into that. Thank you very much, Carla.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is a good place to kind of pick up next week, because I know there's a lot in that basket with African Americans and church and church community and therapy. There are some places that are in big support of therapy and encourage their congregation to seek therapy, and there are some places that don't support that. So
what's up, D?
Yeah. So, I think that's a good point.
Thank you guys so much for giving us pointers and tips. We appreciate that, especially the questions. Thank you so much. We should all be a society of wanting to do better for each other. And so much selfishness in this world, and that's another thing. If you are helping someone, don't think it's selfish to help yourself, because it's not. It's when you totally devote your energy and your time to yourself and neglect those things around you is when it's selfish. But it's because another person's view of you being selfish, they don't know the whole thing that you do. And I used to be worried so much about what people thought when it came to my spouse, because I would automatically be guilty because of she's sick and I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I'm not going to be a chew toy to anybody. I'm a human being. I got feelings just like anyone else. And last question, quickie. If you had to choose one of the three for therapy, Dr. Phil, is it Iyanla
Van Zandt,
Brené Brown?
Brene Brown. Oh, it's a hard toss up between Iyanla. Definitely not Dr. Phil. You can go and take him off the list. I mean, no, I ain't got nothing against Dr. Phil, but he just wouldn't be my choice. But yeah, I think I'd say I like Iyanla Van Zandt. Now, I can't say I agree with everything that she says, but she's good. She's really good. So, and Brene Brown is good, but I think I'd have to go for Iyanla. Yeah.
I hear you. So, Therapist Tori, before we head out, do you have anything you would like to tell the audience before we take off?
No, just thank you. Thank you. I think everybody has some really good input and good things to say. And thank you, Troy, for being open and vulnerable. That's really cool. I appreciate that.
Hey, the good Lord gave us some content. So I'm like, here, let's share. No, thank you for being able to even indirectly, directly pour into me some information that I can apply now, because my family. See, this is what you dodged. Now let me anyway, everybody, thank you so much for swinging by tonight. Living the Abundant Life is grateful for everyone coming in. We will see y'all next week, same time, and we thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Bye. Good night.